What's up, everybody? Eric here, Driveline World's OK steering wheel holder, and we got a grainy night video for you. Good old low light grainy night videos, but I was just on the phone with my wife and just completely amped up, livid, and she's trying to tell me about some stuff that she's going through, and all I can think about is just the BS nonsense that I just went through. So I told her, I was like, man, just let me bust out a video and get this off my chest so that I can call you back and be somewhat, try and be a little calmer. Oh, I got great connection here. By the way, if y'all don't have T-Mobile internet, this is well worth it, man. Well worth it. I've had this for a year on the truck, and I absolutely love it. It is, let's see, right now it's pulling 300 down. Yeah, 300 down. It's amazing. So anyway, if you're already in reefer trucking, you know the game that I'm about to explain to you. If you're thinking about coming into reefer trucking, you had better get ready for lots of what I'm about to tell you. A lot of this is the very high expectation that you operate with perfection, and the high expectation that you have low expectations that everyone else you rely on operates perfectly. In fact, you have to have a high expectation that everyone else who's a party to this agreement or this contract that you're a part of doesn't have to hold up to anything. That it, like, you know, there's multiple parties involved. There's the carrier, there's the customer, and there's you. You are the only party that has to operate with perfection. You can expect that the other two parties can fuck you over, and you should, because that is absolutely going to happen. Now, tonight, there's a lot worse things that could happen, but there's a lot worse things that do happen. There's a lot more shit that I go through, a lot worse shit, but it's just the compiling of everything. Man, this is really grainy. It is what it is. Most of y'all are probably listening anyway, not watching. But so this all began. I had a load last night off the terminal that was pretty damn good, honestly. It had two drops, but the first one was a very easy barbecue place in Tennessee. Very easy. And then the second one was in Alabama, and it paid really well. So last night, I'm told that load will be here at 9 a.m. Second drop delivers Friday morning. Great paying load, so I'll be good and set up Friday morning, get a load. Hopefully it keeps me busy through the weekend, and everything's looking good and great, right? Well, 9 a.m. rolls around, load ain't there. I tried to stay up most of the night because I'd sleep during the day, and then I slept through the day. I set my alarm for like 5:30 or something. And figured, okay, I'll get up and I'll just run this whole thing right to Tennessee. I'll just run it straight to Tennessee. It's like 530 miles, something like that, overnight. So I wake up and the load's still not there. Still not there. So now we're getting into this scenario of, okay, well, at this point, I'm probably not going to be able to make it to the O2, which is the first stop, the first drop. And if I can't make it to the O2, then I'm very likely not going to make it to the O3 or the 90, sorry, which would be the final stop. So I call outbound at the yard, and I'm like, hey man, I was told this load was going to be here at 9 in the morning, and it's like almost 6. I've got an appointment 12 hours from now with 530 miles to go, and that appointment is in East Coast time. So what gives here? Oh, let me look into it. So looks into it. Come to find out, the truck is still at the shipper. Like, the load's not even It's not even being put on the trailer yet. Like, it's, so then he's like, we can leave you on it though. It's a great load. I'm like, what? No, why? Because now both of these drops are completely screwed up. No, like both of these appointments are going to have to be changed, which means the 90 probably is going to be pushed into Saturday if that place is open. If that place is not open on the weekend, then someone's going to sit on that load all weekend until they're open on Monday. No. So then, then the dude, and I'm not upset with Outbound entirely, but then maybe I'm a little bit. Maybe he just doesn't know, or maybe he was just telling me something to make it attractive to me. I'm not sure. I don't know, so I'm not going to make any accusations. But I was told specifically and point blank, there is a load on the lot 75 miles away that's ready to go. Drop and hook, it's ready to go. If you leave now, you'll be able to make it work with your clock, because it would have ended up being like 630, 640 miles, and they wanted me to go. So I asked, well, can I take an empty trailer? Well, no, we'd prefer you pick one up at this lot that's 5 miles away from that lot instead of taking one off the yard. That was a little frustrating because I know this particular place where they wanted me to pick up the trailer, and I know that it's nasty. I mean, nasty, because I've taken many loads there, and man, this place is nasty. So fine, they're not going to let me take an empty trailer, but the load's at least ready. If I do this all with perfection, then I can make it to that I won't be able to do it all on the one clock because the deadhead to pick up the trailer, then the deadhead over to the shipper. That would make it so that I couldn't get to the drop and hook 90 on one clock, so I'd have to stop for a 10-hour break. And then I'll wake up and barely have enough time to make it all, to finish off the last few miles to get to the 90. That's why it would have been much better if they just let me take a damn trailer off the yard, but whatever. So, I hustle, which the load pays great, by the way. Well, when I say great, I think it's like $230, $240 a mile. It's pretty good. So I hustle over to the place where I'm supposed to pick up the trailer. Sure enough, there's like 5 prime drivers, and we're all going through the empties, just trying to find something that only has minimal maggots. I mean, these trailers were absolutely foul and disgusting, every one of them. Sitting out in the sun all day, chicken fat, just, oh my God, man. I mean, I'm talking about, it smells like a full pallet of vinegar fell over. That, like I can't even describe how disgusting all these trailers. I mean, we were just kind of laughing with each other, like, they're all equally disgusting. So we all get our trailers and we have to go over to Blue Beacon, and we get over to Blue Beacon, and of course it's our trailers are all being charged overage because it's taking them a lot longer to get all this shit out of the trailers, and we're having to pay, Prime's having to pay for deodorizer because the trailers all stink. I mean, it was a hoot. It was so disgusting, man. So I get all that done, get the reefer fueled up because it was empty. It wasn't empty to where the line didn't have fuel in it, but it was empty where it was throwing alarms of, hey bitch, I'm empty. So put 25, 30 gallons or whatever. I think it was more. I think it was the big tank. Anyway, it took a lot of fuel. Got it filled up, and I'm busting ass, right? I'm busting ass because I have to leave this shipper by a certain time in order to get this to work. So I'm just sweating and busting my ass, running to get the fuel in, and so I get over to the shipper, and remember what I'm told by Outbound. I get over to shipper, and I'm not even thinking anything about it. I'm just expecting the load to be there, and let's get hooked up to it and try to make this work. Get to the guard check, get checked in. All right, we're gonna let you turn around once you come in the gate, and you can go out the exit immediately, and we'll call you when the load is ready. hold up. There's two problems with what you just said. Number one, what do you mean a load's not ready? And number two, you're trying to tell me I have to leave at 9:30 p.m. with a trailer and go find somewhere to park? Bro, that's literally what I said. I was like, bro, you're sending me out into the wild right now. Like, if I had known this load wasn't ready, I'd still be sitting at the terminal in Springfield. I wouldn't have charged all the way over, especially if you're going to make me leave with an empty trailer. So I'm just like, bro, let me tell you, you're sending me into the wild right now. I just came from Flying J, and it was a cluster F. Like, there is no parking. There is nowhere I can park with a trailer. Like, why? This is an empty trailer. Like, I was told the load was already ready. Like, I realized, I'm really nice about it. I'm like, I know this isn't your fault, but man, like, help me out here. Give me a hand, because I came here under the premise that this load was ready and sitting on a lot, and I've got a clean, empty, fueled trailer I just busted my ass to get to you, and you're telling me the load's not ready and that you're not going to let me drop the empty trailer? Like, help me out here, bro. You know, I'm kind of in a really screwed up situation. I've already started my clock. Like, I'm all messed up. Now there's no way my clock's going to let me get to this 90 in time. So he looks up at the monitor and he's like, there may be one spot. Fine. You know, there's one spot. I'm not supposed to do this, but I'll let you go back there. There's one spot you can drop trailer. Thank God. Okay. So at least there's that. So he then lets me in the lot. I go back there, dude. There's like 30, at least 15, 20 empty spaces, maybe 30 empty spaces back there. Like, what are you talking about? There's no room. We don't have any room on our lot. What are you talking about, dude? There's tons of room back there for trailers. You're going to send me out into the wild at 9:30 p.m. to find a place to park with a trailer? So I go sink it into a spot, drop the trailer, come over to the truck stop. Now I'm jacked on coffee. I've been sleeping all day. I've dropped the trailer, dealt with all that shit. There's no way I'm going to be able to go back there and go to sleep right now. It's not going to happen. There's no way. I was prepared to drive 480, 500 miles tonight. So now I'm just really screwed up, because what happens if this load is not ready until 4 or 5 in the morning and I can't sleep all night? I can't get it there on a single clock no matter what. So I don't even know, man. I messaged dispatch and explained this whole situation. They're like, oh, he said, okay, let us know your ETA when it's ready, and then let me make sure these people didn't call yet, and then we'll send a request to sales to change the appointment. Well, it's not really a request at this point. Like, I ain't making it to that 90 appointment. I was told point blank, this load is ready on the drop lot. Just run over, pick it up. It ain't ready, and it ain't. So yeah, that 90 is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not a request. It's not going to work. I've done everything that I agreed to do as the LLC, as the company that is contracted to deliver this freight on time, be where I say I'm going to say, for the amount of money that I say that I agree to do it on. I've done all my part based on the information I was given, and you know, I was given inaccurate information, and now it's all kinds of screwed up. But you know, a lot of you reefer drivers, you're hearing this story going, oh yeah, that's like once a week for me. Like, that's normal. And the truth is, it is normal. This is the kind of shit we have to deal with all the time. That's refrigerated freight. It's not, I know some of you are just like seething right now to say, oh, you know, F prime, that's prime. No, that's pretty much refrigerated freight. There's tons of YouTube channels that are not prime that tell this exact same story. That's refrigerated freight. And it just sucks, you know. It just sucks that, again, I don't know if I was told that just to get me to take the load, or if he actually thought that it was ready and loaded. It doesn't matter. The point is, I was given inaccurate information. I made all my movements and did all my work based on that information, based on it, and I agreed to this based on that information. I do my part, I get here, it's all wrong. And now the entire thing is thrown sideways. Man. I don't know what. I've got multiple avenues of what my future plans might be. But I'll tell you that, I mean, obviously I'm not going to do this forever and drive for Prime forever. I wouldn't drive for any carrier forever. That's not, you know. But I will tell you that those plans do not involve refrigerated freight in any way, shape, or form. When I'm done with Prime refrigerated freight, I'm done with refrigerated freight. I have great admiration for those of you who could do this for 15 years, refrigerated. Not 15 years for me. No, because I think refrigerated OTR drivers take the most abuse out on the road of any truck driver. Now, maybe some of you would disagree with that. I would love to hear your reasoning why. But I'm convinced that refrigerated OTR drivers take the most abuse by far. And there's just really not any, there's not any meaningful consequences to the other parties of the agreement. Not really. I mean, there might be some detention or something here and there, but when you're talking about customers that do billions, you know, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars worth of refrigerated or frozen freight every year product, you think they give a shit about paying out a couple $100 in detention that may have cost you a couple $1,000s in lost freight? No, they don't. It's a part of business. It's a cost of doing business to them. That's not a consequence. There are no consequences, no meaningful consequences for the carrier or the customers in refrigerated freight. The only party to that has meaningful consequences is the driver. That's the only party to it. And it's not just Prime either. Like that's refrigerated freight. You can see countless, there's entire organizations based on trying to get a handle on this, and they're not going to. They've been doing it. They've been trying for, some of these organizations have been trying for decades to get some sort of meaningful consequences in place for customers, shippers, and receivers that do this to us. And there's been zero improvement. None. Because you're up against billions and billions of dollars worth of industry. And we're just drivers. So the abuse will continue and not much of it will change. And that's why when I do go in a different direction at some point, I'm not saying it's tomorrow, and I'm not saying it's in 2 years or 3 years. I'm just saying it will not be refrigerated freight. Like I'm just I've had a good healthy share of it, and I still got some more abuse to put up with. Oh man. Well, got it off my shoulders and I feel better about it. But I'm sure that a lot of you hear this. I mean, again, I'm not telling you all this because I think that this is like a horrible big example. This is not. This is par for the course. This is pretty regular shit. There's much worse than tonight. I'm just saying that when it's all kind of combined, when you have one load kind of not work out, and then you bust your ass over here and you deal with the maggots in the trailer and all that stuff, and you do all your part and you get to where you're supposed to be, and everybody just tries to shit on you. Just not even let you drop your trailer even though you're there on time doing what you're supposed to be to get the load and the load's not ready. Like I actually had to argue to be able to drop an empty trailer. Like, it's just like, do you not read it? Just shows that they just don't really care about the driver, because they're trying to solve all their problems, making sure they have plenty of room on their yard for trailers. My problems don't matter. The problems that they created don't matter. None of them. Like, they don't want it to be their problem. It's not their problem, and they make it. They just shoo, go away. You know, we'll call you when your load's ready. Then you can bring your empty trailer. Good times, man. Refrigerated Freight, Refrigerated OTR Freight. There are some exceptions to it, but in large part, that's just the name of the game. If you're in Reefer Freight, OTR, you may be one of the rare ones that has some sort of local or regional or dedicated or something like that. But for the most part, vast majority of drivers will tell you it's a lot of this shit right here. Especially if you have your own trailer and you have no drop-in hooks. Then it's a lot of waiting, right? Because then you're just at the mercy of when the product and the dock is ready. If they ain't ready for you to go into a dock and they don't have parking, then you leave with your trailer and you come back with your trailer when they're ready. So that can be even at least we have thousands upon thousands of trailers all across the country. So we have a lot of drop-in hooks, but of course those can be problematic as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for letting me vent. Be safe, make good decisions, always drive, thrive. Talk to y'all soon.